So thank you everyone for attending this talk. Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
One last, you can't go to your, yeah, see? It gets
Okay.
feedback,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so you have to stay right here. Sorry,
Okay.
I forgot that.
Thank
Okay.
you. Yeah. Thank you. This session is about making monitoring easy for your Java applications, and yeah, happy to be here. And actually, very good turnaround for the crowd. I know, like, folks are probably hungry at this time, so nothing, nothing can beat hunger. Definitely, we all work for hunger. So yeah, let's get started. And yeah, you can join this or scan this QR code for the slide. I hope this is for the Cinema 6, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, so that if you have question during my presentation or slides, just type them and we can answer it in the end. Since I have like 20 minutes, so I will try to be quick. So a little about me. So my name is Usman Ahmad. I work in Grafana Labs as a staff developer advocate. And basically what I do is that I work with the open source community on our community forums, GitHub, Slack, try to answer their questions, mostly engage with the OSS part of Grafana. And there is need, like if there is any documentation that does not exist or broken, try to create it. The technical documentation also create technical content like videos, blog posts, or write technical tutorials like a user journey, like how to get started or how to get things done. And in my previous role, actually, I was started my career as a Linux tech support, then moved to the cloud. But the application that I was supporting was a Java-based application. So this is first time for me to come to a conference which is purely based on Java. And yes, I will share my real experience, like how I feel and how I wish I could go back in time and make things super easy. And yeah. And beside work, I am from Germany. I live in Nuremberg, small but very nice city, and I have a family. And when I am free, also after not doing too much parenting work, which is getting hard these days, I like to also create videos on fun stuff on open source, basically Linux, and maybe using some other open source tools. And also, I like to write. So you can find more about me if you scan this QR code or just check my LinkedIn profile. There is plenty. So yeah. I want to share a real story, a story of true events. So I think the best way is to go with this picture. So basically, it's like a normal picture of airport. Folks are like flying in, flying out, and basically in this picture you can see like some are waiting, some knows the direction where they need to go, while some are very confused, and some even look puzzled or annoyed, like maybe the flight is delayed or something does not work as expected. And this is not different to what we do when we work in with applications. So applications are also just a scenario like airport. You don't know when it's broken. Maybe it was working fine and now it's not working. Or you know the path, like, okay, it's broken. I know the way to fix it, and so on. And for me, the common problems are these four. So the friction. So I'm from the world of tech support, so I know like the friction can be a very big thing. So when there is an incident, so the first thing comes the ticket, and the customer says like, this is something broken. From my experience, I know this is what I need to look for. But maybe I can't because there are limited resources, or I can't use it, or I'm waiting for someone else, and that person is not available, so I can't do anything, even though I want to. So that's one thing. Performance, I think performance goes actually both ways. So it's just not for the performance of the software, also performance of your team or your individual as well. So if you can't do anything, your performance is affected, and obviously that also reflect on the customer side. Clear visuals. So back in the days, like I used to also grab for logs, 50 GB of logs, or sometimes even 200 GB, and it was not fun. Like until we use some other tools, and I wish that I could have more clear visuals to see the problem or identify the problem very quickly. And last but not least is definitely the permissions. Again, you may know something or you know all of things, but you are not allowed because you are in a different set of group of users, you are in different team, and there's always these silos which does not allow you, like, you can't do this because we have the permission, we know you have the knowledge, but only we are allowed to do it because we are the admins or whatever. You are not an SRE, you are in support, but if you are maybe an SRE, you are in support, so you don't allowed to do that. So things like that. So let me start with a very basic example. So this could be any Java applications, okay? And maybe this thing runs on all the three most used devices, okay? And again, keeping it very basic from the scratch. So there's some maybe hello world or a program which uses a Java compiler, and there's a JVM, and once all goes well, you can see something in the in your screen. So just for interest, I'm using an application called Open Exchange App Suite. Does anyone heard of it? It's cool. There is at least one hand. So basically, in short, it's a Java-based application which is an email client, and I will try to monitor it. And yeah, if it is all green, we are happy, right? So that's what we want. And in this demo, which is a live one, I hope it works. So I will just try to measure some basics, like some basic metrics, and see some basic option. So for demo, let me go to the screen. So just for visibility, so I have created a Docker Compose file, which is basically running Grafana. And there is one tool, Pyroscope, which we'll talk later, but it's just like running Grafana for me. And there's also, I have started the Prometheus and Node Exporter just to create some traffic, some noise, basically. And if I log in Grafana, basically, and I go in here, and there is an option Explore. And just for making sure that, okay, I'm running Grafana 10, perfect. So if I need to maybe just get some basic Prometheus metrics, not very good with Prometheus, but let me just to get maybe memory, something. And maybe that works, or we can always use the uptime one. Okay, we are getting something. That's good. So this is working. But this is only the step one, like if I want to get metrics. Obviously, like every application, there are logs, and you can go beyond logs as well. But the thing is that it's a bit time taking, and it's like you have to understand also Grafana in a way to monitor it. So Grafana itself as a tool, you need to know it, like where to look for. You have to go and explore. Or you can create dashboard if you are like are a seasonal user of Grafana. By the way, how many are here seasonal user of Grafana? Maybe raise your hand. Impressive. Cool. So I think they know, or you know pretty well. Okay, so this is okay. We can add some other tools as well in this stack, and it works fine. But you need to have this knowledge, like, okay, what kind of PromQL you need to write, and it can be not easy because you're already maybe doing some other work, or you're not an expert, or your designated role is not for like, hey, you need to know everything from Prometheus side or maybe from the log side. So what happens is that I will just stop the container again because I need to create some more traffic, and also stop all the other services. Okay, perfect. And I will run this small program. Okay, while it is running, and it will need some time, and that I will use to in the presentation. So yeah, we see, okay, this way we can get some metrics, and life is good, like everything is fine. If something goes down, it's fine. We can try to fix it. And this is the present. But the reality in future will look something like this. So this bad guy or this evil thing will bite you, and you will be screaming and saying like what happened or how it happened. So imagine that we started with one application, one server. Maybe the customer wants more nodes, so you added more apps. Now it's going bigger. So in terms of like you have multiple clusters, so you keep adding because hardware nowadays is very cheap. You can buy servers and memories. This it's all fine. And but who is monitoring what? That's the main question. It's not about like you have the knowledge, but who is doing what? That's the main thing. So or what went wrong, I don't know. Things have started to broke. You are still happy. You say like, hey, we can spin up some more machines and we can reduce the downtime because there you go. So that's problem solved. We created some more nodes, but those goes down as well. And it's still like, why this is happening? Like we are like buying like crazy, all the thing, but this is keep going down, keep crashing. And yeah, things started to go very south. And definitely you start to hear the screams during your on call or during an incident. And finally, you realize, okay, this is definitely not working, right? So you actually waking up the sleeping panda. Panda are very cute. I like pandas. They're very friendly, but if they go angry, they can be a they can be like a wild beast, right? So, so what is the solution? Like, who, how to identify these problems? So, for that, we need to understand the foundations of observability. So, observability is basically, for me, it's like a journey. So you identify something in advance that, okay, we have this application, let's try to check it, test it out, and find the problems. Then once you identify the problem, you try to fix it. And then you try to, once you fix it, you try to do like a RCA, root cause analysis, to identify, okay, this is something which should not be happening in the future. We identify the root cause and we need to fix it and enter. But this is something, it will keep going on ever, because every software has this nature. It will broke even if you are using like fully 100% battle tests. Even on production, it will break. So this is fine. There is nothing against it. But we have to understand like this is a complete journey. It will never stop. And the main three pillars of observability is metrics, logs, and traces. So metrics tell you about your CPU usage, or something goes a spike, high or low. So it's good, it's very important. You can track different metrics like memory or maybe swap space if there is some need, cache. Logs, I have this saying like, customer can lie, but logs don't lie. So logs always tell you the truth. They are like, if something goes down, you check the logs. And it helps you to identify more better than just metrics, because metrics just give you something, but why it happened, don't know. Why did something happen, don't know, but if you check the log, there is timeout. But logs also may not give you everything. So there is one last thing, it's called traces, where it went wrong. So imagine that your application is working fine. You see the metrics, that something goes up or down, log says timeout, but timeout of what? Then you can go for traces, where you can see, okay, once we click this request, it takes a longer time than expected. That's why it's getting timeout. And there is one more picture, which is called profiling. So profiling actually fix the last missing puzzle in this observability stack. So profiling tell you like what is the root cause. So you identify, okay, this request is going running wild, and that's why we are getting timeout. But how? So then you can use some tool like profiling, which tell maybe the code on the code level. There is like a undefined loop, or something is working or consuming a lot of memory, and we don't have enough memory or enough cache, but the code is designed that way, and there profiling can help. So this is just a general explanation in a, I would say, most easiest way at least I can find. So yeah, but the question still remains like, okay, we know all these things, but is there a better observability stack available? So Yes, there is. So that's actually Grafana. So the top layer is the visualization layer, and you can connect Grafana with any of your data sources. Like you can see some icons like GitHub, Splunk, GitLab, and maybe Salesforce, etc. And this is your environment. You can use it, and you can ship metrics either directly from data sources, or you can use like Prometheus and its exporters to ship it, or you can even use OpenTelemetry. And this is our composable stack, which is totally open source, totally free to use, and we call it LGTM. And P is the new for Pyroscope. So Loki for logs, Grafana for visualization, Mimi for metrics, which is very similar, very identical to Prometheus, and Pyroscope is for profiling. And this is native OTel and Prometheus supported, and there's no vendor locking. But there is more which maybe not of you see it. So this is, we have more tools available which you can add in this stack. So, and these are also actually open source. So if you want to do performance testing, you can use something like K6, which is really good tool. Actually, we also use it internally when we ship new version of Grafana. We first use it for testing. Then there's application observability. So for front end, you can use Faro. For kernel level, you can use eBPF, Bela. Similarly, for infrastructure observability, you can use any of the cloud tools, or for database like MySQL. And there's also a IRM for incident management. So now we understand a bit more that, okay, this is the logs, metrics, traces, and profiling. So these are the 4 pillars. And this is how in detail this all works. I will not go in very detail, but yeah, for metrics, it's the Prometheus like PromQL. For logs, we have like a logQL. Traces, can say TraceQL, but it's a little bit in between. And profiling is actually much easier, but you need to learn it. So, and these are all linked together, and you can get a lot of information once you use all this together and can identify the problems. So what we're gonna do is that we have this app server or OpenExchange server, and we will collect logs, metrics, traces, something like this. That yeah, the arrow is a little bit up and down, but don't mind that. But we're gonna collect all of this, and we will use Grafana for visualization. The only change is there, instead of Mimir, we will just focus on Prometheus, because I think it's the same. It's just a very minute difference in terms of like data storage. But having all of this knowledge is still there is a problem, and this goes back to what we saw earlier in this picture. So there is still this friction, performance, clear visual, and permission thing, because now you know the whole observability stack, and you know, like, okay, I have to use 4 different tools. That means you have to master these tools, maybe at least know more than just theoretical. You need to have some practical experience. But this is hard, because again, you are doing different things. You may not be the expert of like observability. Your title is not like observability support engineer or something. You are working as a DevOps, SRE, or maybe platform engineer, whatever. So how to solve this problem? So for that, we have launched something called easier LGTMP stack. So what does this mean? Basically, I'm very happy to announce that Grafana has launched Grafana 12, and which is really like 1 week ago a release, and something we have created a new application module inside Grafana. Is called drill down apps. What it does is that you can see metrics, logs, traces, and profiling, and you can get all these metrics as without any effort, without doing any low-level coding or typing the queries and so on. And not even to the, I would say that traces and profiling, you can see it says public preview and generally available for the metrics log, but now everything is publicly available. You can use it. It's not in any more preview mode, so everything is generally available. So this is what we're gonna take a look, so how this works. And for demo, we will see how this LGTMP stack works. This is the GitHub repo, which I will use which actually is a Docker repo. You can take a screenshot of it, but we'll use this one. It has defined everything, and once we run this script or Docker file, we will see some of the new features, and we will see how we can view all of these results queryless. We don't need to write anything. We don't need to remember each and every query. We can actually see all the results. So the demo time is here. So yeah, this is the Docker LGTM repo, which I have already executed, and you can see that it is using OpenTelemetry and Grafana. And just for visibility, I can show you what I have done in addition. So so this is the OpenXChange script file, oxscriptconf.sh, and what I did is that I have exported this path, a Java variable, so Java ops others, and define this OpenTelemetry Java agent, define its path, and that's all I needed to do. Okay, and once it's done, just restart your application and run the script. Since I have already done this, so I don't need to restart it again. Now the moment of truth. So let's see some cool dashboard. So I will first do a small minimize. I want to actually show you in detail. So before that, there was just explore here where my mouse is. And now you see this drill down app. So if I click here, you can see that you see 4 options in this application module: metrics, log, traces, and profile. So if I click on metrics, now everything will be here automatically. So you don't need to remember each and everything from the metric side. You can use these predefined dashboards, actually, queryless dashboards, and can see all the metrics for your application. If you may have so the data source here, it says Prometheus because I have only one Prometheus data source defined, but if you have maybe multiple nodes and you want to track it, it will also appear, and you can filter it and select that one. So this is for the logs, and then that was for the metrics, and then we come to the logs. Now logs is pretty important, and this is really cool because now I can see the application logs here very easily, and it already give me some information that there is a info, warn, and error, and if I want to deep dive, I can take a look if I click on show logs. And I can see, okay, there are many errors, can identify these errors directly from here and check more. Traces, yeah, for that I need to actually create some traffic on the application that I forgot. Okay, so now there should be some traces. Yeah, so you can identify traces here, and traces are hard. Even I have still very hard time to understand it, but now you can view all the traces just on fly. So you can do that. And definitely last but not least is the profiling. So you can get all the profile data from this drill down app. You can select the data source as Pyroscope, define either for CPU process or memory. So I'm running a bit late on time, so I will just try to speed it up. I will skip the alerting, but I will just say that alerting is also supported in Grafana, and you can define alerts based on routing, so which alerts goes to which team, because without alerting, the whole stack is useless. You need alerting in advance to identify the problem. So the final takeaways will be the easy user experience. Definitely this is very important because now you don't need to learn or memorize everything or creating many nodes. All these features are built in integrated. There's nothing you need to do at advanced. And last is the wide community support. This is all open source. You can get support from our community or even any community like Prometheus or for Pyroscope as well. And if you want to get in touch or contribute as well or have questions, you can use these resources to ask information or define your problem, and definitely folks can help you. So yeah, that's all for the presentation from my side. And I think, can we take some questions? Okay, so yeah, so I'm here. I can take all the questions outside as well because we run out of time. But yeah, I will try to answer outside if you are interested. Not a problem. So, thank you.